So let's speak about lists and how Bootstrap handles the lists. First things first, let's create a new file. This is file number 13 and lists. Rename this. I'm going to rename it as lists, and as always create a container to handle everything. It's just good practice to do that, but sometimes you can also avoid creating it. It's just that I want our items centered on the browser here, so I can just type end of line or something to show I should not code beyond there. So I'm going to create a default. Actually, I can just use Emmet to code the whole of these things. So inside that, I want list items, and this list item can probably have 1 to 5. So times 5. See that? So I have 1 there, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I save this and go to the browser, you can see it's an unordered list from 1 to number 5. If I want to apply the list group class, it's just applying to the parent item, the UL item, a list group item, and everything disappears. You can see nothing much changes, but from if I undo this and save it, see it's still having those bullet points. Even if I'm going to apply the list group, it's not going to change much until I apply to each of this item. Let me first select this. I need to apply a class of list group item. Group item. See, and it changes everything to this, and it occupies the whole browser as well. So that's how you're able to shift from just being an unordered list to a list group. And it's not a must that you apply these classes to a UL item or a list item as well. We can actually apply it to a normal div and links as well. So let me do a h4 here. List group class, text success, and also text success is no other class. So let me just put a margin top of 3. That's it, and we say list group class. The next one, where we want to apply this to, actually let me just code it out. So heading 4, and we say list group on div. So let's say we have a div with the class of list group, and then inside we can just have normal anchor items. Let's say times 5, and actually instead of repeating that, I can just take this inside and replace this li items or link items with an anchor tag. We highlight all of them. I just change the li to an a. And what's a link item without the href attribute? Then I'll just do hash item. Save. Still have the same output like the UL items. If I want to select one which is active, because we can apply both in a list group item with the UL li item, if I do active, it shows number 2 is the one which is active. The same to here. If I select any other, just apply a class of active, it's going to highlight it. There's something else called a flash style, a list group flash style, if I want to flash it and to better explain it. Okay, I don't know what I placed there, but okay, let me just save it and see. Okay, still the same. List group mt5. to have a better distance. Okay, that's nice. So let me take this one and flash style. Okay, and to apply that, you first have to apply the list group. Do the necessary. Have a list group, and inside it have list group items, but one more item to add is the list group flash style class. And this is how it appears. It doesn't have the outer border, as you can see. Okay, so that's how the flash style appears. And these list group styles in Bootstrap are not limited to an ordered list. We can also use it on ordered list. And the way to do it, we need to tell Bootstrap that this is an ordered list. To do that, copy this as always, the heading 4, because it's a separator. 5 and list group on ordered list. So this is remember the bullet style that we got here is because this was an ordered list, but now we are going to use an ordered list, which is represented by OL. Then inside the ordered list, we'll have list items. I'm just going to copy these list items here from number 1 to number 5. Everything else stays the same, apart from we'll just have to apply here 2 classes. One is the list group class. If we just apply it like that, it's not going to do much apart from formatting it the same way it's formatted here. But if we do list group, add another class which is specifically made for numbered classes or ordered. Ordered means numbered. So if we apply the numbered class, you see, it starts numbering them. And the reason why we are saying 1 1 is because our text between on the li items is 1 is numbers as well. So if I can just shift it to, let's say, 1 2 3 4 5, shift to it. So if you put list group numbered, it gives you the numbered list. Close to lists is badges, and I wanted to combine with this so that you'll be able to see how also badges perform in Bootstrap. And for you to understand what a badge is, it's just something small that appears here, and it has a very nice formatting for you to know. So badges are used in places like headings, buttons, and even in URL classes you can also use badges. But first, let's create a section here for badges. Am I doing it right? Yes, there's a section for badges. Let's start by creating h1 to probably h6 and see how this happens. So you need to create, and inside the h1 to h6 we can create another element to handle the badge. Yes, that's fun. Okay, so we'll just say an addition. The badge is called addition, and this here is heading. You see, this is how it appears. So I've added a class of badge on this button, and the reason why it's not appearing is because we need to give it a context class. So here I'm going to give a background of, let's say, primary to start with, and it works with all, you see, in heading 1. That's how it works. If I work all the way, or let's just say new, because sometimes, okay, if I work all the way to heading 6, see how it appears. 5 6, this and this, Okay, this and this. Heading 2, this and this. Heading 3, trying to go faster. Heading 4, heading 5, heading 6. If I go to the browser, since I've saved, this is how it appears. So badge items all the way from heading 1 to heading 6, and you can see how we can use it probably in an e-commerce site to display a badge that shows we have added new items. To display these badges in a button, you can do the same. Just create a button normally, like how we do it in Bootstrap. Have a class of btn, and btn, let's use primary again. Let me see. Okay, the button is there, and then button, and then inside the button we can actually create a span, like similarly. Let me just copy this and say we want a badge that says something else. Discount. See, it will still show different, the same color, because I've used BG primary here. I can use danger and see how it turns out to be. You see, discount item is showing inside the badge. So that's how we are able to show. And sometimes we can actually say here, we can use it in notification buttons, and here we place the number, let's say 50 notifications. See, that's how you show badges inside buttons. That said, we can put here buttons, badges in buttons. We can even put context classes on this and say button LG, like large. If I save it, okay, voila. But it doesn't really make sense for me to add that one. We can even use the same in list groups, and if I'm going to use a list group like this one, let me just use this, put it down here, and badges in list groups. So we'll create the list group normally, and also have the list group items the way they are supposed to be, but we are going to use flex options so that we'll be able to have both the span itself and the badge, the span holding the badge, and the item inside the list group. So I'm going to add a class of flex in all of them. Let me just remove this active item. The idea is not to have too many classes on it. So first we are going to use the flex itemization. Click there, because I'm going to have elements in this. Okay, boom. Yeah, and I've aligned them properly. Now I'm going to create an element in each of these, and probably I don't need to, because I can click here and just, if I put in this span element, let me just copy this span thing, put it all the way down, then paste it. If I save it and go to the browser, you can see it, each of the list item, it's been added except number 4. It has been added, so that's how you put it in. But to actually align it better, probably let me use number 1. So I want to use the margin classes so that we'll be able to control this. So let's use it and see how it's going to happen. So to do that, let me create a class of let's say 3, and also a margin end of auto. And then inside that, I'm going to create, like, I'm just trying to use all the classes that we've learned, FW folder, and I'm going to use item, and then count is going to be outside it. Okay, then save. As you can see, the item, let's say what we call it, I'll say vegetables. Then the count is 50. Can you see that? So that's how we are going. That's how you can also use the same badges inside our items here. So I can bring the badge. The reason why it's showing that is because it's displayed outside. If I put this badge inside here, I'm going to apply next to it. You see, vegetables, the count is 50, and I can go all the way down, trying to shift all these classes. And actually, why not? Let me copy this and replace this. Let me copy this. Siri is misbehaving.
I didn't catch that.
Sorry about close that. My apologies for that. Siri can be crazy, so I'm not going to edit that out because that's what happens sometimes when you're using your MacBook. You can miss on your keyboard and just switch on Siri. I'm going to press that and do fruits. It's 10. Remove this and paste that and just do fruits, vegetables, let's say juices. Count is 100. Maybe cars. You get the gist. I'm not trying to be perfect, but just explaining to you, like, you can place badges anywhere. Cars, let's say it's a car website as well. This one we're having 100 as well. And lastly, clothes, 34. Okay, so this is how you do it. So it shows flex, but you're using like margin start is 3 and then center it for at the end. Okay, so that's how you can use badges in conjunction with list groups and also buttons. Hopefully that you're going to find new uses for all these things and amazing uses as you try and bootstrap your application or scaffold your application. See you in the next tutorial where you're going to learn about forms and input items.